All right, let's talk about cybersecurity. And I know when you hear that word, you probably think of those giant, headline-grabbing data breaches. But really, it's something that affects every single one of us every single day. We're talking about everything from your own inbox all the way to the wild frontier of AI. So let's get into it.
So let's start with something you've probably seen 100 times. You get an email. Looks like it's from a vendor you use. It's asking you to click a link, update your account details. It even seems a little urgent. Your first thought might be to just click it, right? But hold on. Is it legitimate? That moment of hesitation, that's it. That's the front line of cybersecurity for millions of businesses, and that's exactly where our story begins.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at that everyday cyber threat. Then, we'll build up your first line of defense with some super practical tips. After that, we'll peek inside the professional's playbook. From there, we'll jump into the new frontier, AI, the new battlefield. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with how to stay secure going forward.
First stop, the everyday threat. And look, the most important thing to get right off the bat is this. It doesn't matter if you're a solo freelancer or a Fortune 500 company. The cybercriminals, they are coming for everybody.
And their favorite weapon by far is something called phishing. The FTC has a great, simple definition for it. It's basically just an attempt to trick you. An attacker pretends to be someone you trust, your bank, a supplier, maybe even your boss, all to get you to hand over the keys to the kingdom. It is a digital con game, plain and simple, and boy, is it effective. So, what do we do about it? How do we fight back? Well, let's build your first line of defense. We're going to walk through some of the most fundamental, practical advice straight from the Federal Trade Commission on how to protect your stuff. You know, what's kind of wild about this is just how straightforward these core ideas are. First up, update. Seriously, just turn on automatic updates for everything. It's the easiest way to plug the holes that hackers love to exploit. Number 2, backup. Think about it. If you get hit with ransomware, a good backup means you can tell them to get lost. You just restore your files, no ransom needed. Third, secure. And this one's a great reminder, cybersecurity isn't just about computers. We're talking physical locks on filing cabinets and server rooms. And finally, encrypt. This basically scrambles your data so that even if someone steals it, it's just gibberish to them.
Oh man, this slide is so important because it shows a massive change in how we should think about passwords. For years, we were all told to make these crazy complex things like you see on the left. The problem? Computers can now crack those in like seconds. So the new thinking, from places like the FTC, is to use a phrase pass, just a few random words strung together. Why? Because length is way more powerful than complexity. A machine can guess password 1 pretty fast, but series random words separated spaces, that's going to take it a long time. Plus, it's way easier for you to remember.
Okay, beyond passphrases, there are a few other habits that are absolutely essential. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, is a total must. That's a little code you get on your phone. It means that even if a bad guy steals your password, they still can't get in. Then, train your people. Limit who can access what data, and please, have a plan ready before something bad happens. And maybe my favorite tip of all, if an email feels weird, just pick up the phone. Call the person, using a number you know is real, not one from the shady emails.
So, that's the basic blocking and tackling that everyone should be doing. But what about the big leagues? How do huge companies or even governments protect themselves? Well, for that, you need a professional's playbook, a real blueprint for building a digital fortress.
And that blueprint is, for many, the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and they're the ones who literally wrote the book on this stuff. You should think of this framework less as a single tool and more like the master plan, the full instruction manual for building a rock-solid defense. For the pros, this is the gold standard.
And they don't mince words about why this is so important. This quote right from their own document says it all. The threats are evolving so fast that we can't just play defense and react to attacks anymore. We have to be proactive. We need a system. And that's the whole philosophy behind this framework.
So what's actually in this blueprint? Well, it's made up of hundreds of specific guidelines they call controls. And yeah, I know, reading it on the slide here, it looks super dense and maybe a little intimidating, but the core idea is actually pretty simple. This one, for example, basically just says, hey, you need to have a written down official policy about who gets to access what. That's it. The whole framework is built on that idea. Don't just wing it, plan it, document it, and make it official.
Okay, we've covered personal security and the professional playbook. Now we're heading to the cutting edge. Let's talk about AI, the new battlefield. Because believe me, artificial intelligence is completely changing the game for the good guys and the bad guys.
And it is truly a double-edged sword. On the attack side, AI can now write incredibly convincing phishing emails that are custom-made for their target. It can hunt for security flaws in software automatically, and even invent brand new ways to attack systems. But, and this is a big but, on the defense side, we can use that same AI to proactively test our own systems, to detect attacks in real time as they're happening, and even to automatically fix the problems it finds.
So where is AI going to have the biggest impact? Researchers actually asked a bunch of cybersecurity experts, and here's what they said. They believe the biggest wins will be in attack detection, that's spotting the bad guys in the act, and in proactive testing, finding the holes in our defenses before the criminals do. Automatically fixing things, or remediation, is also seen as a big help, but maybe just a little further down the line.
Okay, but this is the quote that should really make you sit up and pay attention. This isn't some far-off sci-fi prediction. We're not talking about what could happen in 5 years. According to the experts, AI can already, right now, create its own phishing attacks from scratch and get people to click on the links. Let that sink in. The future isn't coming. It's already here, and it's busy writing some very convincing, very dangerous emails.
So, where does that leave all of us? Let's tie this all together. We've gone from your inbox to the professional boardroom to the AI frontier. So what's the big takeaway here?
I think the most important thing to remember is that security is all about layers. It starts with the foundation. That's you, that's me. Simple things like strong passphrases and MFA are just non-negotiable these days. Then you build on that with the blueprint. For any organization, having a real strategy, a framework like MIST, is absolutely essential. And finally, you've got to keep your eyes on the horizon. AI is the great accelerator. It's making the threats bigger, but it's also giving us incredible new tools for defense.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question. Our tools, both for attack and for defense, are getting smarter at an incredible rate. But there's always been a human at the center of it all, right? The person deciding whether or not to click that link, the pro writing the security plan. So as our tools get smarter, are we?